November the 2nd, 2025. I just got through doing a block for Amazon, which started off the day really rough because she finna run me over too. Because I was trying to make my mushroom coffee and the shelves fell down in my cabinet. And the shelf that fell had like probably 8 glass bowls, starting from a really big bowl, and it just went down, and it hit my countertop, which was granite, and just burst. I was just devastated. I was standing there right in front of it, and I had all kind of glass stuff falling on top of the bowls because I had seasonings that's in glass and just a lot of glass that was falling, and shit was everywhere. I wasn't able to get up nothing but the glass that was on the floor, but just so happened I got up and put this sweatshirt on and my pants on immediately, which I don't normally do. I usually go in there and make my mushroom coffee basically kind of naked. And so thank God I had this on, because the first part of the morning, probably the first 2 or 3 stops, I could feel the glass, and it had embedded itself in my jeans. And the only way that it was embedding itself into my jeans was because they stretched jeans. And so as I moved, they was, moving and getting closer into my skin, which was scary. So I stopped and got some coffee that I haven't even drank because the shit tastes like dirt. I mean, it literally tastes like dirt. Crazy. But I wanted to get on and make a video for several reasons. The main reason, though, was because I'm out here in St. Peter's and I'm thinking about my youngest son. And just wishing that we had a better relationship. And my middle son had kind of got on my back a few weeks ago because I had asked him to send me a video of my son, and he went all off into if that was his child, he would do everything possible to see him and spend time with him, and really he just do not understand the struggle that it has been to just be in his life. And I did it, the whole time, all the way up until he graduated and decided that he didn't want to invite me to the graduation because his daddy didn't want me there. And I was just like really done at that point. Like, I don't know, the whole time I kind of thought that at 16 he was gonna see, because he was telling me all kind of shit about how his daddy was doing his girlfriend, and basically the domestic violence that was going on in their house. And so I was thinking that he was gonna just like turn 15 or 16 years old and just start calling shit out, and it just seemed like it didn't work out like that. It's like Anthony got what he wanted, which was for him to turn on me. And he's not technically turning on me, but he's definitely choosing not to anger his father over having a relationship with me. And he feel like I remember when my son was like, I think he was 11 maybe, 10 or 11. He was young. And prior to this day that I'm finna talk about, he was very conscious, weirdly, in a sense, that he didn't want to spend a lot of my money. And so he was very conscious about what he would ask for, and then if he asked for anything, he would, try to find the most cheapest version of whatever it was. But this particular day, I picked him up for the weekend. No, I picked him up for a date. It wasn't even a weekend. It was a middle of the week. Because I was supposed to get him on Wednesdays, but a lot of the times they wouldn't bring him, or I had some kind of excuses why I couldn't get him. But this particular Wednesday, I got him, and he had wanted a yo-yo. And so we went to Walmart to get the yo-yo. And I noticed when we was looking for the yo-yo, he was looking at all the prices, but he made sure that he got the most expensive one that was on the shelf. And although that didn't really bother me, I noticed it. And that says a lot that I noticed it. So then we left there at Walmart. We had a date to go to the movies. And we was running out of time or running late, something to that effect. And maybe it wasn't so, but he said that he wanted to eat at the movies, which he had never asked to do, because we used to always go and get, snacks and stuff from the stores. And we went to Walmart, and so we didn't get any snacks from Walmart. I don't know. I can't remember whether it was before or after. Either way, he wanted to eat. And the movies, which was very expensive. And that really caught my attention, because it said to me, in my mind and in my brain and in my heart, that Anthony was telling him to get everything out of me that he could get materialistically. Like he was teaching him to use me. And I'm very intuitive, and so that's probably how I knew that, but I can't think of what in my mind right now that triggered me knowing that. But I knew that from that day forward. And he sure as shit stinks did that. From that point on, tried his very best to use me in an inconspicuous way, like I didn't know, but I knew, because I knew how he was prior to that one day. Fast forward to now, he don't even reach out to me unless he needs something financially. And so when my middle son, was getting on my back about what I could be doing to have a relationship with him, and then I reached out to him. So really, I just wanted to spend some time with him, but I threw the fact that I was doing a blog for Amazon and I needed his help, and I did kind of need his help because it was a blog that was at night, and I don't see well at night, so it would help me if somebody is in the car with me to help me be able to see things that I might not see. So initially, he didn't sound like he was interested, but then he kept texting, because that's what we were doing, texting back and forth to each other. And I noticed that he was responding, which was something that he don't normally do, which is respond, to the texts that I sent. He'll respond like a day later, or 5 or 6 hours, and never immediately do he respond to my texts right away. So then he said, when he was texting about what the blocks was, could he get paid from going with me? Or I don't know, maybe he said, could we split what they cost or whatever? Because I sent him the screenshots of the blocks that I was going to be doing, and the blocks always have the pay on there, so he wanted half of what I was getting. That immediately made me feel some type of way, because the whole reason why I'm doing Amazon blocks is to make money for something that I need to do. Because if I didn't need to make the money, I wouldn't be doing it. I'm not doing it just because I like to be out doing Amazon blocks. So, but of course I said, yeah, I give you half, because, that's another thing that my middle son was saying, that I was making it about money, and I wasn't making it about money, but like, that's the only time you fuck with me, when it comes to you getting some money. And like, whether you my child or not, why would I want to fuck with you if the only time you want to fuck with me is when you getting some money? Because, one of the things that I realized, being a human being, that I was just a vessel. I was just a vessel for these kids. You know what I mean? And everybody don't have the same relationship that they, broadcast on television about how people's lives are. And I don't believe that none of my relationships with my kids was based on the fact that we are based, not is or was, are based on the fact that we are family, genetically. But mentally and emotionally, we not really family. I don't even really have any family at all. I don't have any family. In the words that most people use family in, I don't have any family like that. It's crazy, because the other day, I should have went the other way, but I'm gonna go ahead and go this way. My mother called me, and I noticed that everybody that want to get in contact with me, they call me during the daytime, knowing that I be at work and not giving a fuck that I'm at work. They just call, and normally I would answer, but now that I'm trying to focus what energy I have on myself, it's like, no, catch me when I'm not doing something. And so she called me in the evening, which I think I taught her with the few phone calls of her calling me right at time for me to be at work and not answering, that I taught her in just a couple of calls, I better call her in the evening, because she calls me in the daytime and expect me to answer the phone. But I've been with her, and she has said, I better not call Derek, my brother, because he at work right now. So she values him and his time. So if he at work, she not gonna call him because he at work. But if I'm at work, it's like, no, You at? Well, I don't give a fuck where you at. I'm calling you, answer your phone. That's how she feel about me too. That's how she feel. But a couple of phone calls got her calling in the evening time. But here's the thing. This fucked me up. She called and say, she act like, she was just calling just to be calling. But she always calling with an ulterior motive. Something that she need or some way that she can hurt me. And that sound like I might be, kind of blowing that up, but that's factual information. Because she said, how you doing? I said, I'm doing all right. How you doing? She said, I'm doing fine. She said, Vicky got the door locks changed on the house, but she's gonna give you a key. I immediately said that I don't need no key to the house. I said, all I want is my mail. And I guess I had to get my mail changed. But yeah, I don't want no key. And she didn't go on and say, oh, she gonna give you a key. She already knew that Vicky wasn't gonna give me no key, because why would you get the locks changed when I had a key? But you don't need me no more, so you don't care. This where my mother at. You don't need me anymore, so you don't care. Then she turned around and say, well, did you get in touch with them about getting the work done on the house? And internally, I'm thinking in my mind, why would you expect me to do anything at that house? And then Vicky living in there and got the locks changed. Why should I even be involved? So I lied, something I rarely ever do. I said, yeah, I called him, but I'm waiting on him to call me back. But I ain't called nobody about shit. Because I told her when she asked me to do that, why do you need me to do anything if at that time she was saying Vicky was moving in the house. Vicky moving in the house. So if Vicky is moving in the house, why do you need me to do anything? That's what I said. If the house needs some work on the outside or whatever that house needs, it should be Vicky's responsibility. You shouldn't be asking me for nothing. Then she said, okay, well, I just was calling to see how you was doing. And she wasn't calling to see how I was doing. Then she didn't give a fuck about how I was doing. But she wanted to let me know that Vicky had moved in the house and that she had changed the locks. But still acting like I need you to do something though. I'm done with all of them. With her, with Dirt, and my sister. I hope and pray that I never ever see them again. I won't be going to their funerals. I probably won't hear about their funerals till after they happen. That's how disconnected I am from them. But on a better and lighter note, I noticed that my mental health is getting better. Like, this is the 2nd of November. And normally around this time of the month, I be suffering mentally and emotionally, which is the time, for whatever reason, that's the time when anybody that has that negative effect on me reaches out, including my oldest son, who has been reaching out all week from jail. I guess he must be coming down off of his desire to get high, because he talking about he want me to reach out to an attorney and tell him that I'm and normally I would have jumped on that shit and been undone it. I ain't even thought about it since he said nothing. I wrote the information down, but I ain't thought about it no more. Like, I'm tired of you using me too. You know what I mean? You don't want to be bothered unless you getting something from me. You don't even call unless you need something. Not even from prison. And he obviously got some type of hookup because he calls for free all the time. He not calling collect. So he got some kind of hookup. Somebody buying him some time or something. Because he calling and the calls are already paid for. But I don't have no desire to help him either. Because I've been bending over backwards for these people my entire life. My kids and my family. My entire life. And no one appreciates the shit that I've done. No one. And then I'm made out to be a villain when they realize that I'm not doing it no more, because I've stopped, intermittently for the last 10 years, which I've been working on myself for the last 10 years. More than that, a little bit more than that, but acknowledge working on myself for the last 10 years. Really, the base of working on myself is, learning to love myself. And learning to love myself requires putting people who I have put in the front seat on the back burner. You're not on the front burner anymore. I don't know. I have grown a lot, but I think what was I talking about? I noticed that my memory is getting better. I know that don't seem like it, but this block helped me realize that my memory is getting a lot better, because that mushroom coffee that I make got all kind of shit in there, and I'm taking lion's mane on a regular basis, and all the different herbs and shit that I make for myself, they working. But I have to be more consistent in taking them on a regular basis. And I have been, but I didn't take it yesterday morning. I didn't take my supplements yesterday morning. And then this morning when I was trying to make my mushroom coffee, like I said, I had that whole incident where all the shit fell out my cabinet. So it's glass every motherfucking where in my kitchen when I get back that I gotta clean up. But I noticed that I am definitely healing, but it feels a little bit I don't know what word to use. I guess sad that I don't have any family and that I don't have any friends. But I don't know if sad is the word, because I'm kind of like really over that, over worrying about that, like family and friends, because that literally has been my struggle since I've been on earth. Family and friends. And I'm talking about my desire to be having a close family and friends, and the way that I've bent over backwards. So I think that, according to my intuition and my internal self, I came here to learn how to love myself wholly and fully, without nothing standing in the way of the love of myself. And doing it, and the only way that I could do it is to be by myself. Hence the reason why I lost every relationship that I had. And I'm not talking about ones with men where I was in a relationship, because I literally been single since 2009, March the 6th of 2009. But the only way that I could truly learn how to love myself was to be without any relationships, without any obligations, without creating obligations, because that's what I've been doing in the past, creating obligations in order for me to create relationships with people so that I could have someone around. And something always happens, you know, some type of bump in the road comes for everyone that I have wanted to even be in relationship with, comes so that I could just be by myself and just worry about myself. I have been struggling with the fact that, you know, that I still have my dog to take care of. And I wonder sometimes, do I need to get rid of him? But I think to myself that if I did get rid of him, I probably wouldn't exercise. And not exercise in the sense of going into the gym, but I walk him twice a day. And normally it's a whole mile. A mile in the morning and a mile at night. So twice a day I get 2 miles in a day. If you know, at least 5 days a week I'ma get 2 miles in out of the 7 days. But most of the time, especially in the summertime, I'ma get 2 every day. And then shoot, on Saturdays and Sundays sometimes I get in an extra 3 or 4 on top of the regular 2 that I'm accustomed to doing. But if I got rid of him, I wouldn't do those walks. And because I'm so far up in age, I really need that. I need that, you know, push to get up. But you know, speaking of the push, you know, the depression that was causing me to sleep and want to be in bed all day, that's like non-existent. That's what I was saying, you know, when I got thrown off earlier, that I haven't been, since I've been taking my supplements regularly, that emotional roller coaster that I usually be on is really slim to none. It's still there in, you know, some instances, because somehow it started earlier. Because this is the second, really, this is the second week I'm going into having that, because I know it makes me real sleepy, and I don't get enough rest, and I usually get a little really emotional, but I haven't been getting emotional. I got a little bit, but not like I normally would be. And I found out from listening to a couple of podcasts that it's the estrogen that you missing that causes all this. And this literally been going on since 2000 and probably 10. 2000. I think it started around about 2010. And then I found out I had breast cancer in 2013. And so the perimenopause started in 2010, and then I think I went into full menopause when full menopause when I found out about the breast cancer. So I've been missing estrogen for a long time. And when you don't have that, because they said that on the podcast that the age of between 45 and 55 is the highest rate for women to commit suicide. And I'm telling you, for a long time, I was having extreme suicidal thoughts, which I thought was odd because I didn't really want to kill myself, but I felt like that at least once a month. Well, not once. During the period, not period time. Anyway, I done made it home. It's daylight saving, so my clock say 11:05, but it's 10:05. I'm finna take my dog for a walk and then clean up this glass. Get this house cleaned up because it's a mess. I just was checking in. Things ain't bad. They not like horrible. Even though I look bad as hell, but I think things are pretty good in my life. Looking at all the different things involved, I will say I know that I'm learning to love myself the way I need to be loved. Choosing myself.